everyone, today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the new MAC Waterweight foundation with SPF 30. So I did already go ahead and prime my skin using the Makeup Forever Step 1 Equalizer and Smoothing, and then the Too Faced Primed and Poreless, and then I spritzed my face with the H2O Plus Oasis Mist. Now I have already tried this foundation out and I tried to do a first impressions, but it didn't go as planned, and so I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to show you a demo, I'm going to show you throughout the day, and then I'll come back and tell you my final thoughts. And so I have used this will be my third time using this, so I do have a little bit of info on it. So I picked up the shade NC25, which is my normal MAC shade, and basically this foundation has a dropper. It is one of those like serum type foundations, and then you would drop it onto your hand. I'm going to give this a good shake. Knowing this foundation, I would recommend using a primer. It might just be my skin because I've seen other reviews that love it, but I did use like pore filling primers. So on one side of my face I'm going to try out a Real Technique sponge. I haven't tried out a sponge with this foundation yet, and then on the other I'm going to use my Sonia Kashuk flat top foundation brush. So I'm taking one full like squirt of it. And with all foundations I avoid my under eye because I go back in with concealer and I don't want to build up product. So there is one side of my face done with a brush. You can kind of see the difference. It has about a sheer light coverage, and they claim that it builds up to a medium, so we will test that out in just a minute. So let me zoom you in so that you can see a little bit better what my skin looks like. So this is what we have. Again, this side has foundation and this side does not. So now I'm just going to take a little bit more. So it was much quicker to blend in with the sponge, of course, but I do feel like it sheared out the foundation quite a bit. As for which I prefer, I actually like the finish with the sponge. It doesn't kind of settle into the pores and whatnot quite as much, but it does shear it out quite a bit. So let's try to build this up. So there is 2 layers on this side with the sponge and then 1 with the brush on this side. So like I said, I really like the finish of the side with the sponge, so I think I'm going to run over this side. I will zoom you in before I do. So here's 2 layers on each side. This is with the sponge and this is with the brush. So as you probably can tell by now, it is a very luminous foundation. Actually, surprisingly, here's a little hint, I like it a lot better with this priming situation that I did. Because the other day it was so, like, I have dry skin and it was so dewy. And then, well, I'll talk about it more later, but okay, so this is what it looks like. I'm gonna go do my concealer, set my under eye, and then I'll come back and set my face on camera. Okay, so I did my under eyes, I set it and everything, and one thing I did notice is that it's clinging to some dry patches right here, and I believe that would be the foundation. But in its defense, I have started using a different moisturizer, and I do have very dry skin, and I don't think the moisturizer is working out for me. But I'm going to set the rest of my face with the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Medium Plus. This is definitely going to be a foundation that you're going to want to set because it is so dewy. Okay, so that is what the foundation set. It does look pretty good. Again, it's like a light coverage, so it's not going to cover everything, but it kind of looks funny around my upper lip area, which I've noticed with some other foundations, so it's not just this one. At the moment, it doesn't look bad, but we'll see how it wears. Around my nose, it looks like it's kind of settling into those lines, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. So I will check in a little bit later. Right now it's about 9:19. I'm gonna go out and do some things, and then I guess I will come back and let you guys know how everything's going and then tell you my final thought. Hi guys, so it is now about 2:15 or 2:16. Anyway, so it's been about 5 hours and this is how the foundation looks. So I'm looking pretty shiny, which is odd because I have really dry skin. But here, let me take a closer look. Again, around my nose is kind of funny. It's slightly breaking apart on my chin. But for the most part, everything else looks pretty good. So that's by like my nose area. And then up by my brows looks good. So I am just gonna powder a little bit, and I'll do this on camera so you can see if it helps or not. And that does seem to help. Oh, also I've been wearing sunglasses, so it has very slightly worn off on the sides of my nose, but considering I've been wearing sunglasses and it's 100 degrees here, it's pretty good. So I will be back in a few hours and check in with you again. Hi guys, I'm back with my final check-in. It is 6:39, so it has been about 9 hours now. Again, it's pretty much the same things. I'm oily. Well, I'm not even oily. I have dry skin, like I said. I am shiny. It's wore off around my nose. It's settled into the fine lines around my nose, and then it's wore off on my chin. Everything else really looks pretty good considering. I was just out in the rain sweating because I was cleaning stalls. Horse people know the struggle of cleaning stalls in the rain, okay? Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you in one last time. So around my nose, it's settled. And then on my chin, it does look like it's actually worn off a little on this side as well because my scarring is peeking through. And then on my forehead, again, still looks pretty good. So one last time, let's go ahead and powder with our MAC Mineralized Skin Finish. And that does, like I said before, seem to take away all that shine. So here's the thing about this foundation. I tried it out 2 other times over the weekend. So the first time I wore it to the barn. I wore it, let's see, about 8 hours. And I was at the barn for 6 of those, and then I went to class, which is another horse class with weanlings. And it looked horrible. I mean horrible. If I still have that footage, I'll show you guys because I did try to film that day, but it just wasn't going well. But if I have that footage, I will insert it somewhere in here so you can see. But I mean, it broke apart, it was oily, it was clinging, it was horrible. So I'm really surprised that I actually liked it today. That day I did not use a primer. That was the first day I used it, and then after that I wore it just out and about, and immediately I hated it again. I walked to my mom and I was like, Mom, I hate this foundation, I need to return it. It clung to some dry patches over here, the nose, same thing, like it just sat on top of the skin, which today, that was not an issue, sitting on top of the skin. It actually looks really nice on my skin today. It was so dewy those first 2 times, and then today it was not as bad at all. I like a luminous foundation, but I do not like dewy. Like, this stuff is dewy. If you don't like dewy, you are gonna hate this foundation, let me tell you. But I think maybe with the mix of, what did I use? I used the Makeup Forever Step 1 Smoothing Primer, the Too Faced Primed and Poreless, and then the H2O Plus Primer Water Oasis Face Mist. I think those 3 things really help with this. This just gives it something to cling cling to, and then it smooths your pores so that it's not going to settle into that as much, and the H2O plus will just hydrate your face more. And like I said, I have very dry skin, so kind of took a turn that I was not expecting, because like I said, those first 2 days I absolutely hated it. And like I said, if I can find that footage, I'm going to put it here and you guys are going to be so surprised at the difference. But today I really like it, so maybe it's just a type of foundation that if it's just like a really casual day where you're just maybe running some errands or going to class and sitting in the air conditioning, it'll be fine. But it did not hold up through the barn and through class, and it was bad. So a little bit about this foundation. Again, this is what it looks like. It is a gel serum foundation. It claims to be it's called Waterweight, and it claims to be like feather light on the skin, which it does not feel like I'm wearing foundation at all, which is an awesome part about this foundation. I don't like when I can feel foundations on my skin, and I did not feel like I had foundation on today. It just felt like a serum pretty much. So it comes with a dropper. So what you do is just untwist it. Then you can like suck up product. So it comes with a dropper, and then you just drop it. You squeeze the top and drop it out. So as for packaging, I really like it. It's a nice glass bottle. This does retail for $33 in the US and then $39.50 I believe in Canada. So I mean, it's not the most expensive, but it's also not the cheapest. For a MAC foundation, this is totally different because usually they have that really like thick full coverage or medium coverage face. In comparison to the Studio Fix Fluid, I kind of actually hate this foundation also for different reasons, but this is a huge change and I really like the change it's made. It's not my favorite foundation, but I think I'm going to keep trying with different primers. I would definitely recommend putting a primer under it or try it out both ways, but like I said, it worked much better with the primers. This foundation does come in 23 shades. I picked up NC25, which is my normal MAC color, and it did not oxidize throughout the day, which I really like. Compared to the Studio Fix, this one is so much more yellowy orange, which I didn't like about it. But this was the perfect color for me, especially going into winter. I get a little bit lighter, as most of us do, but perfect color, and it does not oxidize. Okay, so I just pulled it up on MAC's website and I will read you the description. It says, it is an innovative foundation that delivers color in an ultra fluid elastic gel serum formula. With a virtually weightless feel, this formula is extraordinarily comfortable, lasting for hours. With stay true color and sheer medium buildable coverage, it softly blurs imperfections such as pores and fine lines while also controlling oil. The addition of Moisture Fusion Complex provides immediate and all-day hydration, leaving the skin feeling quenched and silky to the touch. The unique dropper provides you with a drop of perfection. Okay, so going through the claims, this I would not say is a medium coverage. I would say it is a light coverage, so they can build to a medium, but it is definitely not medium right off the bat. It does seem to blur my pores. I don't notice that so much with or without the primer, but like I said, without my primer, it just like it sat on top of my skin so ugly. Like I hated it the first time. As a matter of fact, I was like, I need to go return this foundation tomorrow, and then so I was about to, but I was like, you know, let me make this video. Let me try the foundation on camera again to show people how much it sucks. And then I tried it today, and I really like it today. So, as for controlling oil, I don't believe that because I have dry skin and it made me look oily. So, I mean, if you have oily skin, comment down below if you've tried this foundation and let me know how that went, because I can't see it controlling oil at all. And as for longevity, it's been on 9 hours, and for the little amount of work I've done, I guess it's lasted okay, but it wore off around my chin, which I do have is one of my problem areas, so I don't really want it to do that. Then around my nose, so it kind of depends what your skin looks like naturally if it's gonna last, in my opinion. This foundation does have a very, very dewy finish, so if you are not into dewy finishes, do not get this foundation. You will hate it. So that is it for the MAC Studio Waterweight SPF 30 foundation. If you guys have tried it out, make sure to leave a comment down below on what you thought about it. And yeah, I'll keep trying it out. If anything changes, I will let you know in my next video or maybe in the description, so be sure to check down in the description. Also, before I forget, I did end up making an Instagram account. It is under horseshowbeauty, all one word, and so go follow me there to see upcoming videos, because I will post pictures there more often than I will post videos here, if that makes any sense. So I will see you guys in my next video, and let me know if you would like anything else reviewed down in the comments or what you'd like to see next. Bye guys!